I'm Melissa.
And I'm Katie.
And this is The Coffee Experiment,
the podcast for coffee lovers.
The final count. It's the first.
Yeah. Before we begin, I want to cordially invite you to a 3-year-old pink unicorn birthday party. Do you accept?
Yes, I accept.
It's on August 8th, so you better come into town.
Can you Skype me in?
Of course.
FaceTime me in.
Of course. Yes. Yeah, my daughter has asked for a pink unicorn birthday, and I was researching pink unicorn decorations last night.
Oh, I love it. Well, guys, welcome back. Welcome back to the Coffee Experiment podcast. This is our first ever video episode.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we're working it out. We're new at this. Again, our podcast is mostly for the audio, but we did want to give you an option to watch as well.
Watch this.
Yeah. My camera is on the top of my PC. It's right here. So if I'm looking here, it's because I'm looking at my screen and Katie. So I don't know. Should I make eye contact with them?
I don't think we need to make eye contact. I think we just, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh god. Okay. But if you have the pleasure of looking at this video, thank you. That's awesome. If you're just hearing the audio, then that's okay too.
Yeah.
But we are talking today about something that I had actually never researched that much before. Like, I think I had a loose idea of what it meant or what the process was, but I wasn't entirely sure. And that is the process in which coffee is farmed. So, Melissa, were you extensive on your knowledge in this topic, or do you feel like you learned a lot?
I feel like it's a lot more simple than I thought it was going to be. I already knew a little bit. I definitely did learn. I learned. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I opted for YouTube videos this time instead of, like, articles.
Nice.
Because I figured you were doing articles, so I was like, maybe I can get somewhat different information if I did some videos. But yeah, I have my notes right here. That's what I keep looking at. If you guys see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well,
what about you? Did you feel like you learned a lot?
yeah, I learned a lot. A lot of things surprised me. A lot of things I didn't know. I did know coffee were like coffee cherries. Like, I did know that.
Yeah.
So if you guys didn't know that, like, the coffee bean is actually the seed of the coffee cherry. I did know that. I did know there was a process. I just didn't know exactly kind of when it went into that process. I've never done that. And then I learned a few things involving a map, and I watched a video, and I read a few articles.
Yeah.
And just got up to date on the topic. So if you guys are wondering how coffee is farmed, that's what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, I think before we get started, a new segment on our show that we're doing is coffee news. What's going on in the coffee world? What's going on in the coffee industry? Katie,
I love it.
Do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it?
Well, first off, let me do the first one about Wawa coffee. If you guys have a Wawa coffee near you, wow, this might be out of date by the time we say it, but today, which is Tuesday, July 21st.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that.
Whatever. You can know about it, whatever. So today, Tuesday, July 21st, you can get free coffee from Wawa, any location, in honor of their late CEO. So,
Yes, which is awesome. I love Wawa. I tried it for the first time last year. I was obsessed. Loved it.
I don't have Wawa near me. Is it East Coast thing? I know. I remember seeing it on the East Coast when I lived there, but
I believe so. I did see one in Florida. So yeah, I think it's more East Coast. But yeah, so we've got that. Coffee prices continue to rise. There's no surprise there.
surprise.
the FDA eyes the caffeine labeling system as a priority this year. They want to make sure caffeine labels are properly, categorizing things and saying how much is in everything. I think the Alani stuff that came out has really affected that.
Okay.
So
I know nothing about the Alani. Is there an Alani thing that happened?
yeah, there's been some deaths and some hospitalizations due to some Alani
Oh,
issues, especially in like the
no.
college area, because a lot of college kids and also high schoolers are drinking too many or just having heart problems with one. Guys, Alani is terrible for you. Please don't drink it. Okay, I know that it's cute. I know that it's
It is cute.
fresh and unique. Don't drink it. It's bad for you. It's got synthetic like stuff in it. It's got vitamin B12 in it, so cyanocobalamin. Don't drink it. Just don't.
So for Alani, well, honestly, guys, any energy drink can kill you. Like, don't drink energy
Hmm.
drinks. They're really terrible for you.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I
If you
always tell,
have to,
yeah,
if you have to, Ghost is okay, I guess. I don't condone any of it, but
yeah. But I always tell my brother that they'll kill him. I'm like, don't drink that. Maybe one day he'll listen
yeah,
to this podcast and hear me. Don't drink it. Anyway, just drink coffee, guys. Coffee is way better, bro.
yeah,
Um,
that's true.
so, and it's just, it sparks so much more joy than energy drinks. Energy drinks, I feel like you're just guzzling that down for results, you know? Just slow
It's
down a
true.
little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, take a chill pill.
Take
Don't
it
actually
chill.
take a chill.
Don't take a
Well,
pill.
maybe. I don't know. If you have a prescription for it, maybe you should. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
Well,
know.
that leads me to my next point of news, which is getting very political, extremely
Mm.
political in the coffee world. Apparently, a Brooklyn coffee shop called Poetica Coffee banned a Congressman Dan Goldman over his support of Israel. And they
Oh.
said that he's not welcome there anymore. So he cannot enjoy coffee at Poetica Coffee in Brooklyn, New York. And they posted it on social media. I don't know. I think
Mm.
sometimes if you get really political, like with your coffee shop, it can just, I don't think, I don't know if it's always good publicity. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I agree. I think I think politics need to stay out of coffee shops personally, because you're also
No.
cultivating a community where everybody feels welcomed. And if
Yes.
you make it political, people aren't going to feel welcome. And I'm not, listen, I don't care either way. I don't care what you align with, okay? But there are some places that I feel like should be safe. Although there's also freedom of speech and there's freedom to
Sure.
do what you want. And as an
We
owner,
do.
I guess, if you really want to bring politics into it, you could. But I'm just saying, is it worth it?
I know. I
I
mean,
don't know that it is.
I think for me, I mean, everyone comes from all different kinds of backgrounds and has all kinds of different opinions, but what
Yeah.
unites us all is our love for coffee. And so I don't really think we need to get
Yeah.
political, but that was their choice. They did it. And like I said, we live in America and you're allowed to do that.
You are
So,
allowed. That's true.
um, but yeah, so that's the coffee news, guys. If you enjoy the coffee news segment of our show, please tell us. If you hate it, also tell
Yeah.
us. Thank you.
I enjoy it. This is one of my new favorite parts of our show.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love it. Mm-hmm.
Coffee news. Check.
Check.
Moving
Moving along.
moving along nicely.
Mhm.
Katie,
Mhm.
what surprised you most about coffee farming? I have to know. Like, what was the one thing you read or learned where you were like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that," or "This is so cool."
So, something that really popped out to me, which maybe you won't find that interesting, but I found it really interesting. So, they keep like coffee plants going for a total of typically 34 years. And then they take
Mhm.
them out and like restart. So these plants, I guess, they don't die after every season. And it makes sense because it's in a warm climate. You know, that's
Yeah.
where all coffee is grown, and it's like a super warm climate in that on the equator. It's also called the coffee belt between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn is the coffee
Mhm.
belt. And so, but
Hmm.
yeah, so they use them for 34 years, and then they take them out and put a new plant in its place. I just thought that was, I don't know, it surprised me for like how long a plant can sustain coffee. I don't know. It just surprised me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Hmm.
I think what was more surprised, like what in the same kind of a line of things, I have to find where I wrote it because I was. It's kind of the along the lines of what you just said, where a
Hmm.
coffee farm, when they're established, they can produce beans for 55 to 60 years, which is really interesting to
Right.
me.
Hmm.
I thought
Yeah. I
so.
think, and it could be different for, I mean, the 34 years thing, it might be different for what, depending on like what farm you're at. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
think
just looked
so.
I just looked it up for a Costa Rican coffee farm that a guy did a video on, and he talked about their process, and it took 34, it takes 34 years for their plants in Costa Rica. So it could be different
Yeah,
for a different
yeah,
location. So,
yeah. Fascinating. Okay, well, Katie,
yeah.
I know you did a lot of research and you've got some articles. I can kind of fill in what I found with
Hmm.
yours if you want,
Yeah.
since you typically take a better lead on these kinds of topics.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I kind of want to start with like the path your coffee takes, kind of like from the beginning, like a story, I guess.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes. I love that.
Okay. So we'll start with where your coffee starts. It begins as a delicate seedling of the coffee tree, okay? And they are planted. And if you didn't know, like I said before, the seeds of the coffee tree are the coffee beans that we love. Okay, that's what
Mm-hmm.
we're looking for here. So, if you've ever asked how are coffee beans grown, we do have an answer for you. So, coffee seedlings are generally planted in large beds in shaded nurseries. They're watered frequently and protected from bright sunlight until they're ready to be permanently planted. Often they're planted during the wet season, so the soil remains moist while the roots become firmly established, and it takes approximately 3 to 4 years for the coffee trees to bear fruit, depending on their variety. Now, the Costa Rican
Mm.
coffee farm that this guy went to, I think this is like a more of a general thing, but the guy who visited this Costa Rican coffee farm, he says they grow for a year, and then after a year they can bear fruit. So I think it
Hmm.
depends on where it's at. Um,
Okay.
but this says 3 to 4 years. And then coffee cherries, they turn that um, deep red purplish color when they are ripe and ready to be harvested. So,
Interesting.
anyway, have you ever eaten a
Yeah,
coffee
I did
cherry?
see. I have not. I've not.
Okay.
I've always wanted to. I did through my research see that there are certain ones that can be yellow.
Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what that one was called. So the one that typically is red is the Arabica or Arabica.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Okay.
Maybe the Robusta is the yellow one. I'm not really sure, but there is one that can be yellow. You can eat the cherries, uh, and they're very sweet. I've heard. I've always wanted to try one. But
I,
Katie,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
when I read that, this is my rabbit hole I went down.
Okay.
I wanted to know if you could order yourself a coffee plant for your own house in America, right? Because we know that we don't have
Oh,
coffee farms here for obvious reasons.
it's too
I
cold.
went down a rabbit hole on YouTube to see if you could actually get yourself one. And the exciting thing is you can. You can order it
Mm-hmm.
off Amazon. The Arabica one is $40. You can actually grow them indoors. They need bright light, so typically facing the south end, like if you have south of your house, not really north. Frequent water. They are acid-loving plants. You repot it every 1 to 2 years, or when the roots come out, whichever happens first. You can just use regular houseplant soil. You can also use cactus soil if you really want to. It's a little bit more acidic. But you can literally get yourself a coffee plant to have at your house. And guess what, Katie? I ordered one.
Oh my God. We have to follow the journey of your coffee plant. What will you name your coffee plant?
Yes. Yes, I was super excited. I
Yeah.
was like, now obviously they're not going to produce, enough to like make a business out of, but you can have your own coffee plant and make your own beans and,
Yeah.
go through your own process that we're going to talk about soon of how to actually get the bean and make your
Yeah.
coffee from it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's really fun. We'll have to follow Melissa's journey, and then she'll have to name her plant something, and that'll be fun.
I'm naming it the coffee experiment.
Okay, the coffee experiment. It's an experiment.
TCE.
TCE. That's the plan. Oh no. When we abbreviate the coffee experiment, it sounds kind of like a drug.
Mm-hmm.
The TCE.
Well,
It sounds
coffee is a drug. TCE.
is another
TCE.
drug that you can take every Friday. Never mind. Don't take drugs. Don't.
TCE is the only okay drug to take on Fridays.
Yes, it's verbal coffee. That's what I call our podcast to people. I call it verbal coffee.
Wait, are you serious? I love that.
Mhm.
I'm writing that down. I did not know that you.
Yeah.
TCE, verbal coffee.
Yeah, verbal coffee. So we'll see how well that's received, but that's what I've been telling people.
I love that. And Katie, that reminds me, we never did a bevy moment. We never did a bevy
Oh.
break.
Oh no, we just went right past it. So let's take a little
We
let's
did
take a
go
little
right past
break.
it.
We did a little intro. Let's do a little break. Okay, so what are you drinking?
I have,
Mm-hmm.
no surprise, I actually am drinking the Coffee Experiment Podcast Coffee Blend
Oh,
today.
very good.
And I have my maple Starbucks creamer in it. It is a French press. I'm on my third cup because I streamed this morning
Very well.
for 2.5 hours. And so I've been drinking a lot of coffee. So, cup number 3.
Oh, wow,
I
that
think
is
it's
awesome.
3. It might be 4. I can't
I think
remember.
your mug is really cute. You've had that mug for a while, haven't
you.
you?
A long time. It's from Germany. It's handmade.
Oh my gosh, I remember that from your house.
I see your mug from your friend who
Yeah.
makes amazing coffee mugs. We need to link her in our podcast. Did you link her last time? I can't remember.
She doesn't even have a website.
Oh,
She is like she's not
She's
even on
off
social
the
media.
grid.
She's off
She's
the grid. Like this cup, you can only get a perfect mug like this if you come to Idaho Falls and you go to the Saturday Farmers Market. That is the only place you can get this. Or I can personally
Giveaway.
hand select one for you from her
Yeah.
pottery studio. So it's very
Mhm.
exclusive.
Maybe eventually we'll do a giveaway for it. We still have that giveaway, guys, that we're working on. I just am not doing it yet because we took a break off our podcast and it kind of well, we just need to work it back up basically. We don't have enough people listening yet to do a giveaway yet. So, we're getting there, but
Yeah.
not
we
quite
just
yet. I do have all the stuff, but
we need a little more listeners, for sure.
yeah. So make
but-
sure you share us with your friends.
Yes, please. But what I'm drinking is I'm also drinking a French press that I had with my cinnamon coffee cake creamer. So that's what I'm drinking.
Yum. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds good.
So, and it tastes better out of this mug for whatever reason.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mugs matter.
They do. They really do. Okay. Very good. So let's get back to it. So we did a little intro here. Now I
Mhm.
wanted to talk a little bit about just like the harvesting season, about
Yeah.
like when they harvest and how is it harvested. So what it says is in most coffee growing regions there's one major harvest each year. So in countries like Colombia, where there are 2
Mhm.
flowerings annually, there is a main crop and a secondary crop. But other places, it's not. There may not be 2 flowerings. There might only be 1. So
I gotcha.
yeah. So like for Costa Rica, their time to harvest, when I looked into that video, was was in the fall, from November to February. That's when you can start harvesting.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So you have to, do that. But it sounds like some countries have 2 flower. But when it's
I
time,
like that.
how is the coffee like actually harvested? So it really does vary. At this Costa Rican coffee farm that I watched a video on, they actually hand pick all of their coffee cherries, which is kind
Yeah.
of crazy in our
Yeah.
in like this day and age, but like a lot of them still do like hand pick them. Like a lot of them don't have access to machinery that
Right.
does it.
I did see that
yeah.
online when I was researching as well. The machines are really cool though. That do pick them.
Yeah, the machines, if they have access to them, like that's pretty cool. It probably slows it down. But I really, really surprised me that in most countries, the crop is still picked by hand, which is extremely difficult
Yeah.
and time consuming and requires a lot of hands. So, in places like Brazil, for example, where there are immense, relatively flat coffee fields, the larger farms like that, they may use like those machines to harvest them. So it just
Yeah.
depends on like what the setup is. And a lot of these like shade grown farms, like these smaller ones, they don't have access to the machines. And they hand pick them and it takes a long time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I found before we go further in the process, I have a couple notes on like some earlier stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I think the reason why like coffee farms are good are there's a very high demand and a very high profit, which
Mm-hmm.
we all know there's a very high profit margin in the coffee industry, but direct sun exposure allows for 8,000 to 10,000 plants per hectare. Oh my gosh, hectare? I'm not
Okay.
really sure what that equates to. Maybe you know.
Per hectare.
Uh,
That's
yeah. I'm wondering if it's like an acre or something.
let me see.
But the other thing too is that they can be grown on a lot of different terrain, hence the different regions, different altitudes, all that good stuff. And the temperature, like so coffee needs a lot of like rainfall and specific temperatures. So 23 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius and 60 to 80 inches of rain is ideal. The pH for the soil needs to be between 5 and 6 for max production. Um, so yeah, I thought that was really cool. And in generalization, the Arabica beans are about 7 months, and the Robusta bean, like cherries, are about 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like Katie said, when they're ripe, they're red, but some are yellow. And then in some areas, coffee has become an environmental weed, which I thought was really interesting. That some people are out there like, oh, another coffee like cherry tree on my property, pull it out. And I'm over here like, I'm gonna spend $40 on a coffee plant.
I know, different cultures, right? They're like probably
I
sick of coffee
know.
over there. They're like, ugh, like all these coffee farms. Kind of
It's
like,
just so cool.
where I live, we have potato farms and like that kind of thing. And so maybe some
Yeah,
people from other places would think potato farms are cool, but it's
I
just in my
do.
it's in my backyard and I'm like, there's the spuds again. There they are. They're transporting the spuds. There they go. Um, but back to your point about what a hectare is. A hectare
Yeah.
is bigger than an acre. It's
Oh.
basically 2.5 acres. So
Oh, I'm gonna write that down.
um, so it's like it's a hectare at
What the heck?
ten
What the heck are?
thousand square meters. It's in the metric system.
Interesting. Okay, okay. I just
Yes.
realized I'm not near my mic.
Oh,
Okay.
uh-oh. Well, that's all good.
You can hear me okay,
Um,
right?
yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Perfect.
Perfect. Perfect.
Perfect.
So
Okay. That was my
so
notes. That's some of the stuff I found.
very good. Okay, well that was really interesting. I think that it sounds like there's many ways to harvest coffee. It
Yeah.
just depends on what your resources are. So whether by hand or machine, all coffee trees are harvested in basically one of two ways. They're either stripped picked or selectively picked. So, kind of what we were talking about, all cherries are like stripped off of a branch at one time,
Yeah.
or selectively picked, where the pickers rotate the coffee trees every 8 to 10 days, individually picking only the ripe cherries. This is
Mm.
more costly and is used primarily for premium Arabica beans.
Mm.
So,
Interesting. Okay.
this process could play into the cost a bit because it is costly
Yeah.
to do it that way.
Which makes sense, which therefore ups the cost on all ends.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that could be a reason why certain coffee's more expensive.
Yeah, it could
Could
be a
be.
contributing reason. It all starts at the farm. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
You know what else I thought, Katie, that I thought was interesting? You know how I said that direct sun exposure allows for, a bunch of plants?
Yeah.
Got me thinking about how, and we've talked about this, the bird coffee, and how
Oh.
incredibly amazing it is to actually earn that certificate because it's easy. It's easier to grow your beans or your cherries on sunny exposure. When you're growing it in shade, shaded areas so that you're bird friendly, bird certified, that's a lot harder. And it really just like made me think of how much more meaningful that is, you know?
Yeah, I think it's more of an intentional process. I mean, it sounds like to me
Yeah.
these if you want your coffee blend to be bird friendly, you have to partner with one of these smaller farms. It kind of sounds like to me. Like
Yeah.
where they are it's already shade grown.
Yep.
They already have, these things in place where there's probably a few more things that have to be put in place for it to be officially bird friendly, as we discussed
Right.
in our What is Bird Friendly Coffee episode, if you were curious about bird friendly coffee. Um,
Yes.
we did that one back in the spring, so you can scroll down a little bit and find that one. But I think that it's a more intentional process. I don't know. I think that it feels more
Definitely.
human to me than the idea of like this wide expansive field that's in like full sun
Yeah.
and they're using machines and it's,
Yeah.
I don't know, going faster. I don't know. It's interesting, the process of it all.
Yep.
Um, but after the coffee beans, after they're harvested from like the actual cherries are harvested, there's a lot more work that needs to be done because
Mm-hmm.
the outer part, of the cherry that is the fruit needs to be taken off in order to enjoy the seed, which is the coffee bean. So, um, basically, after harvesting, coffee cherries must be processed as quickly as possible to prevent them spoiling. So if they're just sitting there in the heat, they're going to spoil. So you have to do it really quickly after harvesting. So
Yeah.
there are several methods. Two of them like are more common, and then there's a third that like combine both methods. So one is centuries old. So like one's been around since coffee's been harvested, and then one is more technology driven. So there's two. Um, the natural process, which is the dry method, this is the older method, which freshly picked coffee cherries are spread on huge surfaces to dry in the sun and then hold to remove the skin and pulp. Now, a lot
Hmm.
of the smaller farms do it this way, especially this Costa Rican farm that I researched a little bit. They take the coffee cherries and they dry them in the sun and then they hold them to remove the skin and pulp.
Yeah, I did see that. It was interesting. I watched this video of this guy just, picking his own berries and doing his own coffee from his backyard. And he was doing this in a wok. He would heat up the beans and then do like almost like an aeration process. I can't remember the name. I want to say it started with a W, but he would blow all the like chaff and stuff off,
Mm-hmm.
and then grind the beans. And I just thought it's such a simple yet awesome process and thing. How cool is it that coffee is just so layered? You know?
Yeah.
There's so much that goes into it and yet it's so simple if you think about it.
It makes me
That
think
was
about
cool.
it makes me think about what other seeds we're missing out on. Because think about this.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. Or maybe someone has to figure it out because it's a seed. Someone figured
Yeah.
out like, oh, this coffee cherry tastes really good, but what if I roasted this seed? I mean, I don't know. Maybe like
I
it was the
know.
only seed.
What are we missing out on? What about
May-
mango seeds?
Maybe they did a comparative analysis of all of them. And they found all the seeds and they
Maybe.
roasted all of them and they're like, which one tastes the best? I don't know. It's just interesting.
Uh,
So, okay. So that's the natural process. So that's where you spread them on a huge surface in the sun and dry them, and then you remove the
mhm.
skin and pulp. Most coffee farms do this process, the wet method, which is
Mhm.
where it involves several steps to remove the skin and pulp from the coffee cherry, and then you can dry the beans in the sun or by machine. So, and then there's like this hybrid process that involves both. So this blended method removes the pulp of the coffee cherry, but leaves at least some of the layer over the seed intact prior to the drying process. So it just
Mm.
depends on what they want to do. So this is called the semi-washed or honey process.
Yeah.
But
And guys, your
yeah.
coffee bags will tell you what process it is. That's why if you see a bag that says like washed or, you know, honey, like all that stuff, this is what that means. So if you're confused as to why your beans say single origin or washed or whatever, this is why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm assuming your typical coffee bean that you're just gonna buy off the shelf is probably the washed process or the semi-washed, most
Yeah.
likely. Because because it makes it a faster process. And yeah, I saw this the Costa Rican farm that I researched. They said that they might do. I thought they did the natural process, but now I'm thinking about the video again. They might do. Maybe they did the semi-washed because what they did was they removed the pulp and then they dried them in the sun. So I think that's a mixture of both. And
Yeah.
then after that, they completed the drying process in like these big like vats kind of that are almost like these heat like big blow dryers like for the beans to finish. So it makes it just a little faster. So yeah. But even after this whole process of drying and everything, they're still not ready to consume as coffee because they're just dried out and there's the green coffee seeds, but they are not the delicious smelling brown beans that turn into our coffee. So what happens is a lot of the time, I think some coffee farms might roast, but a lot of the time they send them away in bags that are unroasted for suppliers to buy to roast on their own to sell. So that's kind of...
Yep, and that's why a lot of coffee shops will have, you know, especially if you're a roaster, you'll have a lot of different coffee bags. We used to have them all over the walls. I actually kept a few of them when we closed, sold the rest. But I know lots of roasters, and they are left with just way too many bags. But I think they're so cool. Like, I've seen the roasting process a few times. I've been to a few roasteries, and it's really cool to watch the beans go from green to what we know today. And I think a lot of people don't realize the process that it takes and how cool and scientific it actually is.
It is.
And
Yeah, it's
there's
like
so many stages of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like from the farm to the roaster, from the roaster to the, you know, the coffee shop and the bagged, like all, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's extremely interesting, all that kind of goes into it. So, if depending on who roasts it, I mean, people have all different kinds of roasting methods, right? I know people that roast their beans at home. Like, I know people that do that. I know, obviously roasters that roast them, roasters in your area. So it sounds like a lot of people just buy these bags of green seeds, and then they roast them themselves. So in a roasting machine, I'll just tell you a little bit about the process. It's kind of like this machine. It's like a circle, and then they rotate the beans always while they're roasting it to prevent them from getting burned. And then the beans reach an internal temperature of about 400 degrees, and they begin to turn brown. The coffol, a fragrant oil locked inside the beans, also begins to emerge, producing the coffee's signature flavor and aroma. So after roasting, the beans are immediately cooled either by air or water and then packaged. So that's how
and
it works.
that process, that's when you get all your different roasts, your decaf, all that kind of stuff. So roasters, they actually have computers that connect to their machines. Some of them, you can actually choose the different profiles. You can literally see the chart of it going up and down. Whether you pull your bean on the first crack or whatever is going to be, that's how you know what like caffeine level it is, for lack of better terms. So, if you pull it right away, it's going to be your light roast. You pull it later, it's going to be your dark roast. If you wait too long, burnt. But you can also roast beans at your house. You can use a wok. You can use a popcorn maker. But you can actually get green beans off of Amazon and roast your own at home. I've never tried this. I've always wanted to. When I get my coffee plant and they grow cherries, I will be trying this.
You will have to try and see.
I will. Yeah, I want to.
Yeah. And this kind of brings me to, I mean, some people may not know this, but when you buy a coffee bag that says like a coffee blend, like where your beans are, oh, like this coffee blend that we put together, whatever flavor profiles that is. So
Yeah.
it's literally a blend of different beans, right? So it's a blend of beans from different places that have like complementary flavors and like other characteristics. So yeah, so a lot of so it's just a blend of coffee beans from different places. So
Yeah.
it tends to be, the blended coffee tends to be more consistent in its flavor profile and is likely to be available more year round than single origin coffee, because single origin is what it sounds like, it's from one place.
Yep.
So, yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really interesting. Katie, should we tell them why we're doing an episode on this? Or should we wait?
Yeah, I'll tell them why. Because we
Tell
decided
why.
to do an episode on this because later in August, we're going to interview somebody that grew up on a Costa Rican coffee farm. So she lives currently in Costa Rica, and she literally grew up on the farm, on her dad's farm. She would help pick like coffee cherries and like that kind of thing. She was out there, and she talked about, I interviewed her a little bit, and she told me about kind of the struggles that they went through. And now actually she works for a company here in the United States, like remotely. But she also just bought land with her dad to continue their coffee farm. So I think
That's
that
awesome.
is,
I love that. I cannot wait to talk to her.
yeah. So I think that that'll be a really good one. It'll be in August that we interview her, but yeah, we're really excited about that one.
Yes, we are. And so we wanted to learn more about coffee and farming it because that's where we're a little bit more unfamiliar with the process, and we want to grow our knowledge on that. And we wanted to grow y'all's knowledge on that so that when you listen to that episode, you have a base that you can learn from as well. So
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, guys, that's how coffee is farmed and how it reaches you. So I hope you learned something.
yeah, I learned something. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good. All right. Well, you guys, just so you know, you guys can follow us if you want. You can follow us on Spotify. We're trying to grow our following on Spotify a lot, so be sure to hit subscribe. It's free, and it just tells you and I that we're making good content. So go ahead and do that. And then you can also follow us on the Coffee Experiment Pod on Instagram, or you can join our Facebook group, the Coffee Experiment, and hang out there with us. Yes, so please do that. And we will be on those places. And yeah, guys, so just keep listening, and we love you for listening this far.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. I think we covered it, Katie. Did we cover it?
We did it. We did it.
All right, guys, don't forget to, you can also check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to us out there.
Yes.
We'll probably be doing more shorts on there as well. And, well, until next week, I'm Melissa.
And I'm Katie.
And this is the Coffee Experiment,
the podcast for coffee lovers.
And also, I totally think we should coin the phrase verbal coffee and put it on a t-shirt.
Verbal coffee, TM. Trademark.
TM. There, it was said. You can't take it now.
Trademark. It's kind of like I declared it, like bankruptcy, but
I declare.
but because I didn't say it, I declared it.
Exactly.
Trademark. TM.
Exactly.